and let me repeat that, the theft of data is really not hackers that you should be concerned with. Most of the time, it is an inside job. An employee, a disgruntled employee, maybe an employee with having some financial difficulties, marital difficulties, whole plethora of reason, some type of grudge. Many steal. I mean, many people steal the data to sell to information brokers, to your competitors. A whole plethora of things. Some of them will use it for ID theft. A lot of reasons why they're doing this. But how do you protect yourselves from individuals who are really, really bent on, taking your data, taking your information, and how do you cope with that? Well, there's a lot of tools on the market that can secure the weakest point of your network, and by that we're talking about the workstations out there on your network, the mobile devices that they're assigned or they use, that's their laptops, their smartphone, PDAs, and of course iPods, USB thumb drives, Zune devices. All these mobile devices make it very easy. An iPod, comes with 80 gigs, whatever it is, of storage space. That's about the equivalent of a hard drive on a workstation. Now think about that for a minute. So it's very easy to copy off data, which could be spreadsheets with customer financial information, marketing material, client lists, budget, expenses, confidential information, and it'd be very, very easy to copy that to a USB device. They're so ubiquitous. I mean, they're literally everywhere. They're practically giving away USB thumb drives. So that kind of activity, I kind of refer to as pod slurping, and the pod being a reference to the Apple iPod. But the idea of the slurping, gathering data, and it can be all kinds of files. Anything that can be copied to a hard drive can be copied to a USB thumb drive, or an iPod, or PDA, or a smartphone. There's software on the market. Well, let's go back for a second. There's actually things you can do using group policy in order to stop workstations from deploying. It's I want to say USB drv.sys, which is what Windows uses as a device driver for a USB type device. And you can, through group policy, basically create a new administrative template and shut down access to your workstations out there for USB devices. But that's really part of the story, USB devices. There's also CD drives, DVD burners, and of course wireless synchronization with PDAs, smartphones, laptops. So to actually get that granular, and then I didn't really see a way where you can lock certain security group. Maybe you can lock certain add members to the security group and administer that group policy. But I do know that there's some software on the market that makes that whole job a whole lot easier to set up. We use GFI's endpoint security here to lock down CD devices, USB thumb drives, flash cards, floppies, smartphones, all that. And you can do that, and like I said, on a security group basis, and you can add members to it. Maybe you want this group to have access to PDA, but you don't want to be able to maybe burn a DVD. Well, you can do that with this kind of software. The end game is that the endpoint type software on the market secures the mobile devices, and there's no saying that locks keep honest people honest. Well, this software is basically going to make it much more difficult for employees, an inside job, if you will, of stealing data off the premises. It's a good idea, and I highly recommend that you look into some of these applications. But bear in mind, some of this you can do for absolutely free by going to Microsoft.com and looking about on how to create a group policy for this. But it's not very robust, and it's certainly not as going to be inclusive or as easy to use or as powerful as something like GFI's endpoint security. So you want to kind of keep that in mind.